What is going on, Scan fam? Welcome to episode 18 of the Crypto Club podcast. Some very exciting stuff today. We are here with a new member of the CoinScan team. We've got Dennis here. Dennis is a great guy. I'm sure you guys have seen him if you're part of the community, hanging out on a Telegram. Make sure you guys say hi to him.
Super excited to be a part of the community, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. And we are here with Gons, of course.
Hello, hello. Back as always.
Excited to get back into this episode of Crypto Club. Starting off, our last YouTube video briefly touched on this, but just to bring it up again, very nice new CoinScan homepage right here. Some global market crypto indicators, really starting to look pretty good. New tokens listed right here, big scanners trending, all that good stuff. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So starting off, looking at the Bitcoin chart here, you can see we've been trending upwards ever since about 16,400. Now up $1,200 up to 17,580. About a 10% gain over the last week or so, 2 weeks. We got Ether sitting at 1350. Not too bad. Matic is sitting at just around 86 cents. Crazy recovery from that bottom of 33 cents back in June, around the time when the Russia FUD was really hitting hard. And we also haven't seen that low touched on Ether either, of $890, just around there.
Overall, just some really nice market relief going on right now, so definitely take advantage of it.
Yeah, a nice consistent uptrend for the past week or so. Good way to start the new year. So getting into our first article here, crypto winter rally continues as Bitcoin climbs above 17,450. So the crypto market saw its second straight day of gains on Tuesday, despite hawkish comments from the Fed Chair Powell that interest rates will continue to rise until the central bank gets a handle on inflation. Stock likewise finished the day on a positive note, with shares of Coinbase climbing 13% after the crypto exchange revealed that it would be cutting nearly 1,000 jobs as part of its restructuring plan. At the close of markets in the U.S., the S&P, Dow, and NASDAQ were all up in the green, up 0.7, 0.5, and 1% respectively. Just a little side note, I saw a tweet earlier today saying that it was from Unusual Whales, if you guys are familiar. He was saying he's not worried about a recession until he stops seeing now hiring signs everywhere. And I think that was a good little anecdote, because that is true. Like, everywhere is hiring. There's a lack of talent in the job market, high turnover rate, at least in some of those, kind of lower end jobs. And if we really head towards the recession that we've been apparently heading towards for around a year now, I don't think those places would be so desperate to hire.
Yeah, and personally, I think there's always needs to be a little bit of cleanup in some organizations, whether there's low performers and certain other things that need to be kind of tightened up. I think we're kind of seeing that as people are scared for the recession that everybody's expecting. So tightening things up and cleaning up is the big theme right now.
Spot on, Dennis. I would also add that, typically that's done at the beginning, of the new year, because at this point, these companies are all working on their books, finalizing their taxes. And so typically cleanup and stuff like this is done at the beginning of the new year. So it's, there's a little bit of intertwine there as well. Like, not all of it is just recession fueled fear.
Yeah, that it kind of makes me wonder, what's the transition from expecting a recession to being in the recession, or expecting a recession to no longer expecting a recession? Is it going to be just, a quick rebound from, this year of fear that we've had? Maybe it proves to be pointless. Maybe it proves to be worthwhile. I think it'll just be interesting to see.
Yeah, I just think the uncertainty is fueling all this kind of restructuring and reorganization, and people are really being careful with every single dollar spent and how they internally utilize certain values. And I think we're seeing that be just more prevalent right now.
Yeah. Well, See, just getting back into the story here. So Bitcoin did continue the rally and gets, oh my goodness. Whoops. So Bitcoin did continue the rally and gets into resistance. A doubt will break out in one go. Needs clear conviction in the coming 24 hours. Otherwise, bearish divergence is possible. Lower time frame needs to stay above 17,350 in order to continue rallying, which we are currently doing. Anywho, we'll see how the prices play out in the coming days. Let's get on to our next story here. Now, this is some insane news. As you can see right here, Avalanche is up 14.4% off of this news. So Avalanche partners with Amazon. What's next for the price? Avalanche and its DApp ecosystem shall now be supported on AWS, which also comprises one-click node deployment through AWS Marketplace. With this partnership, Ava Labs can help customers deploy custom offerings linked to over 100,000 partners spread across 150 countries. So, it really sounds like this is just opening up a lot of doors for Avalanche. It doesn't, contrary to the headline, it doesn't seem like, Amazon is partnering with Avalanche in regards to their marketplace. It's just simply the AWS infrastructure and all of the doors that opens.
Yeah, it's still massive news nonetheless. And it definitely is being reflected by the market. I mean, it's a 20% increase in Avalanche just from that news alone. And even more so worth noting is it's been, I want to say, about a few hours since that news broke, and Avalanche is still holding really well. It wasn't like a pump and dump, at least not an immediate one. So really, really big stuff happening in the crypto industry. I definitely think that a lot of the naysayers or fudders of crypto are maybe second guessing as more and more positive news spreads regarding cryptocurrency adoption and integration into our world.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you, Gons. I think just having this large scale enterprise leverage a blockchain technology and really show the use case, and it really sets the tone and marks the path for a lot of different projects to be able to get these larger contracts. And yeah, I'm just super exciting stuff on my end.
For sure.
Definitely.
And just quickly looking at the Avalanche chart here. So, you can see it's got a crazy candle on the daily going from a low of around 12.3 up to 14.5 where it's at right now. However, it is worth noting, this candle is shooting right up into some very strong resistance here. So we'll see if this breaks. I could see a inverse head and shoulders playing out right here. But I think we've seen the extent of this news rally. However, it could definitely be signaling a shift in sentiment that could drive it past this resistance. So we'll see about that in the coming days. We'll get on with our next story here. So Crypto.com delists USDT for Canadian users following OSC ban. Now, when this story first came out, it kind of seemed like some USDT FUD. But as it's evolved and marinated, it's become more clear that it's because of this OSC ban. So according to user reports circulating on social media on January 10th, cryptocurrency exchange Crypto.com plans to delist Tether for Canadian users effective January 31st. The exchange has told its customers that if they do not withdraw or convert their USDT assets by the deadline, then their Tether will be automatically converted into USD coin, it wrote. I think that's good that they're going to automatically convert it rather than blacklisted or something like that, because that's definitely something I could see happening, unfortunately. But it seems like they're taking the proper route.
Yeah, they're taking care of their customers, which definitely something to appreciate. I know when this news first broke out, people were going crazy about USDT and fudding it, but it's one of those things too. Like, you can't just read headlines; you have to kind of dive deeper into the article, which, if you hate reading or you don't necessarily have the time to do it, that's why we do these podcasts for you guys. And it definitely isn't so much USDT FUD, more so just Canadian, regulation and stuff like that.
Right. So In August, Crypto.com announced that the Ontario Securities Commission had accepted the firm's pre-registration undertaking for operations in Canada. As part of regulatory requirements, cryptocurrency exchanges operating in the Canadian province of Ontario are prohibited from listing digital assets banned by the OSC, which includes USDT. Similarly, CoinSquare, a cryptocurrency exchange regulated by the Investment Industry Regulatory Organization of Canada, the IIROC, currently does not list USDT as one of its available trading assets. In issuing its decision, the OSC never explained the rationale behind its Tether ban. However, a document unsealed on February 17th of 2021 stated that the only US dollars held by Tether, ostensibly backing the approximately 442 million tethers in circulation, was the approximately 61 million on deposit in the Bank of Montreal. Meanwhile, experts have from time to time questioned the authenticity of Tether's reserves and its audits. It is interesting, right? Like, Tether's always just been the trust us, bro. Even when FTX happened and there was a huge influx of, interest in self-custody and transparency, Tether has still been reluctant to transparently prove their reserves.
I think they never will. It's been one of those things that Tether stuck to since they, were first brought into the market. And I mean, even just hearing that statement that was back in 2021, I mean, Tether had 61 million on deposits out of 442 million issued in circulation. That's less than 14%. So it's one of those things, like, Tether in my eyes seems pretty over leveraged and not backed 1-to-1, even in today's day and age. And I'd rather trust many of the other stablecoin options out there that are doing monthly audits or fully transparent on the blockchain. There's several different, there's DAI, USDC, several others.
Yeah, definitely a lot of other options. Some better options depending on who you ask. And, it's crazy how big Tether has gotten without, the same transparency that some of those smaller stablecoin options do exhibit. Anywho, let's get on to our next story here. So FTX has actually recovered over $5 billion in assets, bankruptcy attorney says. The announcement substantially raises the total FTX has recovered since filing for bankruptcy last year, but is still short of what customers are owed in total. The crypto exchange FTX has recovered more than $5 billion in different assets, not including another $425 million in crypto held by the Securities Commission of the Bahamas, a bankruptcy attorney said during a hearing Wednesday. We have located over $5 billion of cash, liquid cryptocurrency, and liquid investment securities measured at petition date value. It just does not ascribe any value to holdings of dozens of the liquid cryptocurrency tokens, where our holdings are so large relative to the total supply that our positions cannot be sold without substantially affecting the market for that token. I think that's good that these guys are taking a conscious approach to these smaller illiquid tokens where they hold a large supply and could greatly impact the price. Maybe at that level that would fall under market manipulation if you were to liquidate a huge holding and tank the price. But the announcement substantially raises the total FTX claims it holds after the company's new leadership said it could find only $1 billion on December 20th of 2022. So that's a 5 times of their assets within two months.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, while it's not all that customers are owed, it's definitely going to help out at least a little while. And, it'll be interesting to see how this affects SBF's trial. I want to say his trial is upcoming October of 2023. So quite a ways away. And yeah, I just wonder how the state of FTX up until that time will affect his trial.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's much more to uncover here. I mean, they're finding more money by the month, so let's see what happens as the trial comes around, and hopefully this year we'll get some more clarity because there's still a lot of unknown. But I'm glad that slowly we're kind of uncovering this huge mess that SBF has made.
For sure.
This is definitely one of those stories that as time goes on, we're just going to learn more and more like dirty secrets about FTX and Sam and what they were doing behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, it's been one of those stories, it's been, 2-3 months, this entire saga, and it just goes deeper and deeper. I can only imagine being, part of the bankruptcy team that is taking care of this. I'm sure that the mountain that they're dealing with is enormous. Without further ado, let's get on to our last story here. So, amongst all of this crypto turmoil, recession talks, stock market turmoil, Binance is planning to hire 15 to 30% more employees. We've seen a lot of layoffs in other cryptocurrency exchanges, other cryptocurrency firms, things of that nature. And Binance has always tried to present itself as a beacon in the cryptocurrency industry, right? Like they are the biggest exchange. CZ is very vocal on Twitter. And I think this is a very good sign that they, don't only talk about that, but they really practice it. So Binance is planning a hiring spree in 2023, CEO Changpeng Zhao said Wednesday, taking a somewhat contrarian view as crypto firms lay off huge swaths of staff amid continued pressure on coin prices. Zhao said Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, said the company increased headcount in 2022 from 3,000 people to almost 8,000 people. That's more than double their employees. In 2023, Binance plans to increase the number of staff by between 15 and 30%, Zhao said at the Crypto Finance Conference in St. Moritz, Switzerland. Rival exchanges have been forced to cut large parts of their workforces after nearly $1.4 trillion was wiped off the crypto market in 2022, and major digital currencies, including Bitcoin and Ether, saw their prices plunge. And, an example of this is in November, Kraken announced it was laying off 30% of their staff. I don't know what happened to this article here. Here we go. So you got exchanges like Kraken laying off 30% of their staff, and you got exchanges like Binance hiring 30% of their staff. So, which exchange would you trust with your money? Although at the end of the day, of course, self-custody is going to be the most reliable.
Absolutely. I'm glad you ended with that. It's a huge power move by CZ, and it just goes to show how healthy Binance is right now. We're coming off some Binance FUD from a couple weeks ago where everybody was saying that Binance is insolvent, even though they had on-chain like $42 billion worth of reserves that were publicly visible. So it just goes to show you like Binance isn't playing around, and yeah, you're very likely safe with Binance. In the event Binance ever does collapse, I think it would tremendously hurt the crypto industry for years to come and set us back quite a bit. So I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon either.
Building in the bear. This just, again, further excites me. I think right now is a sifting process, and whoever's building is going to be very well equipped for the next bull run. And just, again, super excited on any teams that are hiring and growing and building in the bear.
For sure.
Well said.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to end this week's episode. Once again, welcome, Dennis. Pleasure to have you on the team. This has been the CoinScan team coming at you with an episode of Crypto Club. Make sure you guys are in our Telegram, following our Twitter. We just gave away a PS5, a PC, an iPhone 14, AirPod Pros, and an ultra-wide monitor. And there will be plenty more opportunities for you guys to, feel some of the love that we try to give back to our community. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys soon.